Put in that word. Another one.
Hello everybody, I'm the Fantasy Typhoon. Welcome to weekly recap, weekly NFL recap. Just sit back and kind of just go over some things that happened during the course of week one. I kind of see some things that kind of stood out to me, some suggestions, some recommendations, do as you please. Try to, a lot of folks tell you what to pick up or who to pick up off the waiver wire. We try to tell you what to do with what you pick up off the waiver wire. Give you a plan. Remember, you got to have a plan. I think it was lesson 42 if you look at tips and tricks. Once again, I'm the Fantasy Typhoon. Welcome to Fantasy Typhoon Studios. If you're new to the channel, thank you. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for coming along. Hope you'll enjoy. And if you do, please do me a favor. Just smash the like button and become a subscriber here with Fantasy Typhoon. Once I reach 1,000 subscribers, that unlocks the door to where I can do phone calls. I can do start sits. I can really run this show like a community, like I really want to, and we all kind of live and breathe and kind of bounce information off each other's back so we all can grow as a community and we all become better players in fantasy football and dominating our leagues the way we're supposed to. All right, let's see. Let's start off with the first game of the week. That was the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. First start with Kansas City. They picked up right where they left off last year. They looked well-oiled and ready to go. Maybe it was lack of the defensive effort from the Houston Texans, but you can't take anything away from the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is on fire. I want to see a little bit more Tyreek Hill. But you know their method if you've been following these guys. Tyreek Hill comes on later. Okay, let me put it to you this way. When they come out first, the first scripted plays pretty much going to Travis Kelce. Bieniemy and Andy Reid like to get Kelce going first. Then they kind of maneuver over to Tyreek Hill and Marcus Robinson and Sammy Watkins and things of that nature. Then once they get Hill involved and get those wide receivers involved and get that lead, that's when they kind of fall back on the running game. And then that's where CEH comes in, and then that's where he gets his touches, and that's where he eats. So it kind of their gameplay goes in segments. So if you have Kelce early and he really doesn't have those fantasy points you really want by halftime, you might be in trouble. But if you have Tyreek Hill and you didn't get those points you wanted during the first, maybe second quarter, don't fret. You still have the second half coming for you. CEH same, kind of the second half, because this offense is a modified spread, but they do their elements backwards. They, instead of running to throw, they throw to run. Now let's move on to your Houston Texans. Which is a modified West Coast system now. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to run basically that Clemson offense to where Deshaun Watson can get the ball out of his hands a little quicker. But what they want from Watson is this. They want Watson to come to the line of scrimmage and have full autonomy to where he can audible any play he wants at the line of scrimmage. From what he sees, pre-snap read, And then his post-snap read comes in and he should be able to ball should be coming out. And due to game script, kind of got DJ off course. So DJ looked good, by the way. So if you drafted David Johnson in that 4th, 5th round, pat yourself on the back. You got an RB1 going forward. He's an RB1. Let's see what I want to talk about now. It was kind of strange looking at these games, you can kind of tell the offensive line play is behind as far as comparing them to the defensive line play in the trenches. Your defensive line kind of dominated your offensive lines, was seemed to be a common thread throughout all the games I was watching. And it was just strange. You got a lot of running backs, rookie running backs, if you will, getting stuffed at the line, stuffed at the goal line. Taylor got stuffed at the goal line. Clyde Edwards-Helaire got stuffed at the goal line. Moss got stuffed. Gibson got stuffed. So it was a recurring theme with these rookie running backs just getting stuffed at the line, at the goal line, except for Dobbins. Dobbins went right in. So hopefully that will continue with Dobbins. But I'll get to Dobbins when we get to that game. Let's see, just want to go over the Bills and Jets right quick. Now, of course, Bills run, the pistol read option. And it's unfair what they're doing to those running backs, Devin Singletary and Zach Moss. Now, here's what I observed the first game. When the quarterback is in shotgun and he puts the ball into either Moss or Singletary's belly, it's kind of unfair what he does, is because on all the good plays, and I don't, he's supposed to be reading the linebackers, is whether he's going to keep it or not. But he really doesn't do that. When he puts the ball in the belly, he's looking for his side. He's looking for if it's clean for him only. So he's kind of cherry picking the runs. That's why he gets so much yardage. That's why he's the one, always the leading rusher pretty much for this team, for the simple fact that he's taking all the good runs and all the bad runs he leaves in the running back belly, and they're getting tackled behind the line of scrimmage, and they're coming away with they're starting out the game -4 or -5 yards. That's Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. Both are starting out the game already -5. It's due to the quarterback. And when they get down to the goal line, he's taking all the goal line touches as far as putting the ball in the running back's belly. He's not making the reads. He's taking what's best for him. So that's hurting those running backs. And then on top of that, you marry that with Zach Moss and Devin Singletary banging against each other. And I'm pretty sure they're happy together, but I'm talking about for fantasy purposes. You got your quarterback cheating them, and then they're canceling each other out as far as carries and touches. I would be surprised if either one of these guys had 100-yard ground game. I would be surprised if either one of those guys has an individual 100-yard ground game this whole year. And their fantasy points kind of cap off at like 18 points. It's pretty much a ceiling for either one of those running backs. So I just want to let you know. Now, what you do from that point on, you kind of watch it as it progresses. 18 points, I'm kind of putting that down as kind of like the ceiling, that the highest this thing can go for Zach Moss, even with a touchdown, for Zach Moss or Devin Singletary in the backfield. Now, you got good cop, bad cop with Josh Allen. He can make a dime bomb to Stephon Diggs and turn around and miss. John Brown wide open in the end zone. I don't know. I wish I could just show you that one. He just floated the ball, and I'm like, what in the world? But that's what you get for Josh Allen. Sean McDermott is come from that. Comes from the tree, the Carolina Panthers tree. So they're trying to make Josh Allen into a Cam Newton. For the Jets, what did I see? Let's see. Jamison Crowder. That's your guy. That's your guy, Jamison Crowder. He broke one. He broke a long one. He got loose. And the tight end, Herndon, and Crowder are his blankets. So that's where he's comfortable with, going, because it's pretty much like they say, what you do in practice, the guys you're getting comfortable with, the guys you're throwing to in practice are pretty much the same guys that you carry to in game day. It's kind of like muscle memory. So Crowder and Herndon are his targets where he feels comfortable with. Le'Veon Bell has a hamstring injury, so he's out for week 2. He's on injured reserve right now, so he's out for the next 3 weeks. And it's the Mr. Frank Gore. Come on down. It's his show for this week. Looking at the Packers. Let me get my notes here. Looking at the Packers and let's see the Packers and the Vikings. What I put down for Packers and the Vikings? Packers and the Vikings. What I want to say about them. Rodgers kind of started off a little slow. He kind of picked up the pace a little bit. So then he found his groove, and then boom, all of a sudden, old Aaron Rodgers just popped up. If you look at Aaron Jones, he's a good running back. Aaron Jones is an underrated running back. Now, whether he signed another contract in Green Bay, I highly doubt it. But if he does move on, there's still value for you to hold on to Aaron Jones for his next home. He could put PPR points on the board. He won't get the goal line carries like he's getting in Green Bay. The situation won't be as lovely for him as it is in Green Bay, but he will still be a viable fantasy option for you. Jamal Williams played a ton this game. Devontae Adams could actually finish wide receiver 1 easily this year. And then you got Marquez Valdez-Scantling. If you got him, hopefully you picked him up in your best ball very late in your best ball leagues. But if you do have an option to maybe kind of get in there every now and then and kind of pick up something off the wire, Marquez Valdez-Scantling will be great for your best ball leagues. And here's a note. They tried the outside zone run, which was Kyle Shanahan does. So, because the head coach there and Zach Taylor, the head coach over at Cincinnati, and the head coach Kyle Shanahan all come from the pretty much same background. So the outside zone is what those guys run. Shanahan has perfected it from his father, and they ran outside zone with A.J. Dillon. I found that kind of intriguing, so I went ahead and put it in my notes, because what they're doing, they're preparing A.J. Dillon for outside zone runs. So when Aaron Rodgers is in Dallas next year, and Jordan Love takes over the helm, he'll already be acclimated to the outside zone. Vikings, don't really have too much to say about the Vikings. Dalvin Cook is your guy. Alexander Mattison is your backup. The universe gave you a chance to sell him when they was going through those contract talks and everybody thought Dalvin Cook was going to sit out or maybe hold out, which we knew he wasn't going to hold out because of the new CBA rules. You'll be an idiot to hold out now. There shouldn't be any holdouts going forward. So if any running back or wide receiver or whatever threatens to hold out, 9 times out of 10, it's not happening. It's not happening. But especially during the season, because these guys don't get game checks until they play the game. Now, during training camp and all that, they get a little stipend here and there. But the game checks, I'm talking about those millions of dollars, don't flow until there's a game. So these guys, I think game checks come out every Tuesday. It's Monday or Tuesday game. I think it's Tuesday game checks actually hit their bank account. So they didn't get paid until yesterday. It was their first real game check. So that's why they might hold out a little bit. They're not holding out as far as during a game, during the season. So that was already ludicrous to us. We already knew that wasn't happening. We were trying to tell you, sell Madison, sell him, get him out. The universe gave you a chance to get better, and you missed it. Madison is a backup. He's stuck. I don't care how good he is. He's stuck behind Dalvin Cook now. How good you think he is. Let me put it to you that way. Because if he was a baller, he would take Cook's job. Let's see. Vikings are rough on rookies, especially wide receiver rookies. We already know this. So you guys who got Justin Jefferson, you got to wait till next year. I'm sorry. That's just how this thing works. It's not me. It's not my opinion. It's just the way the Vikings and Mike Zimmer do wide receivers. He's a baller. He's a baller. But they're not going to unleash him until next year. Even they're sitting there starting Tajay Sharp and the CDBB guy, they're going to start over top of. They're going to get presidents on the totem pole. He's going to bring him along slowly and make him earn every little thing he gets. Let's see. Let's move on to Washington and the Eagles. Washington, once again, here comes Peyton Barber. He's in the way of your running back reaching full potential. Here comes Barber again in the way. Barber's that running back that will have a long career, but he will be really, I can't say no use in fantasy because he did get 2 tubs on Sunday. But I mean, if he's on the wire and you picked him up, redraft, go ahead and put him in as your flex for a bye week or whatever. If you need that space, if you need running back help, you got to plug Barber in. But if you're in Dynasty, look, you need to go ahead and get rid of Barber now. Washington DST, we tried to tell y'all earlier when the rumors was going around social media when Miles Sanders was deemed out. Well, I think it was last Thursday. Everybody was saying start Boston Scott. I think we were about the only site that really said no, do not start Boston Scott. Matter of fact, don't start Corey Clement. Don't start any Eagles running back. They're doomed. Have you guys seen what Washington's front looks like? Those guys are beasts. We already told you they might have a top 5 defensive front, and then on top of that, you got Lane Johnson out. You got I think it's Brooks out. You got about 3 linemen down for the Eagles. Man, they had a field day on Carson Wentz. Boston Scott, I know you was mad after you started Boston Scott, but we tried to tell you. But let's get back to Washington. Gibson. You know, a lot of guys were talking about Antonio Gibson. I told you openly, I missed 0 shares of Gibson. I didn't pick him up in any of my dynasty leagues, anywhere. I was mainly going for, in that range, I was taking Ayuk. I was taking Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers, and I get to that in a minute. And he's deemed healthy today. He put in a full practice, so he's ready to rock and roll Sunday. But, I picked up Brandon Ayuk. I kind of missed Gibson. Now, when I'm looking at Gibson, I really got a chance to go back and really look at him in form in the NFL. I didn't watch too much of his rookie tape. I mean, as far as his college tape. I want to see what he looks like in the NFL. Now, he has the size, he has the speed and the weight. He has the NFL body. When he gets off the bus, oh yeah. Teams are looking like, oh snap, that's Gibson. Oh snap. So he already, he has the RB1 look and feel to him. Now, he has a nice little jump cut. He's raw right now. They're bringing him along slowly. This is what I'm starting to see with Gibson while they have Bryce Love on IR. I think this is more of a project. This is something, all right, we had. This is my opinion here. I don't know if I'm right or wrong or not, but I'm just trying to read the tea leaves here. These guys really wanted to bring in Darius Geis. This was his show. They were just going to bring Gibson along slowly. You probably would see him 2 or 3 plays a game until they kind of see what they got here. But their plan was elevated when Darius Geis got into those legal troubles, and then they had to cut him. Then Adrian Peterson, they did him a favor to where they were like, hey, look, let's just go ahead and let Adrian Peterson hit the open market. Let him sign with the team wherever he wants to go. We're not planning to win a Super Bowl. Let's not hold this man back. Let's go ahead and cut him now. Let's let him go land with whoever he wants to. Let him go play where he wants to, where he can fit in. Let's see, see if he can get a ring or whatever. In other words, we don't think we're going to be in the runnings for the ring. Let's let AP go eat somewhere. And AP chose Detroit, and I'll get to that later. But now they're forced, with Gibson now. So what they're doing is that he's still in experiment mode right now. Now, here's what you do with Gibson. I would say around right before your trade deadline show up, probably around in November sometime, trade him. They're going to bring in another running back, probably the first round. They're going to bring in a wide receiver first round and a running back second round. And he's going to be your starter. This is an experiment, so don't get caught up in the experiment. Let's see. I want to see Bryce Love. He's from North Carolina, such as myself. I'm good friends with I know family. I haven't really met Bryce, but I know the family. So a little personal touch there with Bryce Love. The Eagles, they showed you who they are. They're HW personnel. They're running those two tight ends. This offense runs through the tight ends, whether it's Goddard or Ertz or Goddard, whichever one you want to say first or second. The law firm Goddard and Ertz and Goddard law firm that runs this show. A lot of tight end screens, a lot of tight ends one-on-one with the linebackers. Both tight ends scored. I see a minimum of 7 targets a game for each tight end. 7 for Ertz, 7 for Goddard each game. This is a tight end set. Looking at Rieger ran 9 routes pretty much. So Rieger is going to be your downfield, boom or bust type guys first starting off. So you got to be aware of that. If you draft him in a dynasty, it'll probably be next year by the time he really gets fully acclimated to your route tree. But for now, he's a go route guy. If he doesn't catch the big bomb, he's pretty much not going to be too much involved in the offense. Let's see. Touch them. Let's see who's next. Colts and Jaguars next. See what I got on Colts and Jaguars. Oh, Phillip Rivers. Man, Phillip Rivers is Captain Checkdown. It's not the scheme in the Chargers that made him check down. It's Phillip Rivers. So now Austin Eckler is done because Captain Checkdown is now moved his talents over to the Indianapolis Colts. He's Captain Checkdown. I mean, good gracious, man. Never seen so many passes to the running back. Marlon Mack probably got about 4 or 5 targets. Nyheim Hines probably got about 6, 7 targets. Jonathan Taylor probably got about another 6, 7. Well, that's 13. That's almost 20 targets to the backs alone. And then when Phillip Rivers did go downfield, he was throwing into double coverage. His arm can't do it no more. Phillip Rivers looked bad. He's the reason they lost that game. Now, I don't think they'll bench him this early, but he continues this. He'll be benched. I would go ahead and even in Superflex, I would go ahead and get rid of Rivers. I'll go ahead and get what I could and get out before I get stuck holding the bag. Because if he doesn't make it here, he's not going nowhere else. This will be it. He will be forced to hang him up. Let's see. On your waiver wires now, since the news of Marlon Mack going down with the torn ACL, so he's out for the year. So that impediment that was in the way of Jonathan Taylor is out of the way now. So Jonathan Taylor is free to roam, but he's got Nyheim Hines in that backfield. So Nyheim Hines isn't just going to just sit there and go away, and this is the Jonathan Taylor show. So basically, you might want to say it's the Nyheim Hines show, to be honest with you, because on first down in the red zone, if Jonathan Taylor don't get it done, he's coming out. Here comes Nyheim Hines. they're going to throw a pass to Naeem Hines out the backfield in the red zone. So, but Jonathan Taylor is a baller. Jonathan Taylor's pretty good. He's a good running back. And just want to say, the offensive line between Jacksonville and Indianapolis, holes was like this. For Jacksonville, we're opening holes like this against Indy, and Indy offensive line was opening holes like this against Jacksonville defense. It went both ways. Let's see. So if you picked up Naeem Hines, you can actually start him. You can put him in your RB2 slot in your PPR leagues. If you're not in PPR leagues, you might want to go ahead and put him in your flex, but I don't think folks do standard too much. I think most of my audience here will be his PPR audience. Let's see. Jacksonville, James Robinson. Now, if you picked him up off the wire, if you're in redraft, go ahead and run him whenever you can. If you got a hole, if you feel like he's better than your two running backs and you can put him in your RB2 slot, feel free to go ahead and run him. Run him this year. As long as Jacksonville's running him, you run him in your RB2, sometimes in your flex. He's good enough to do that duty. Now, in your dynasty leagues, do the same with him as you would Antonio Gibson. He's not going to be the starter next year, so don't treat him like that. Before the trade deadline this year, make sure he's off your roster and on somebody else's roster when they go bring in this first round running back next year. Probably a new regime too, with the new running. They don't have any allegiance to Robinson. Plus, you got Zigbo and I can't think of the other running back. You got Zigbo and the other running back on IR COVID right now. So it's going to get a little messy before it gets better. So go ahead and run Robinson while you can. Enjoy it while you can. If you picked him up off waivers, enjoy him. But Dynasty Leagues, make sure you do not carry him into the next season. Gardner Minshew looks good. Is he better than Baker Mayfield? Don't hit me. Is Gardner Minshew better than Baker Mayfield? Look, don't hit me. Don't hit me. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. But let's see. Minshew is a good QB. What we got next? Browns and Ravens. Let's see. Look, if all you folks out there who missed Chubb in the first round or second round and went ahead and took Kareem Hunt in the 5th and 6th, pat yourself on the back. That was the move to make. Mayfield is staring down his first read. He's acting like he's a rookie. He's acting like he hadn't been here before. He's staring down that first read, man, and defenses are keying in on this, and it's probably in the scouting report. And one other thing about Baker Mayfield, what he thinks is open is mostly closed. Is Jarvis Landry the wide receiver one here? I don't know. And OBJ, for him to really get off here in this offense, he has to be completely open. I'm talking about completely open. He has to have 2-3 steps on his defensive, on the guy that's playing defense on him for Baker to be able to get him a good ball. So I'm telling you now, OBJ is getting ready to get tired of this. OBJ is going to get fed up with this. He's not going to take this too much longer. The Baltimore Ravens, looking at Lamar Jackson, man, he looks bulletproof. He's a little arrogant out there right now. He's smelling himself. You know what I mean? And nothing wrong with that, but, man, you got to slide, bro. You're going to have to start sliding. You are taking smacks. You are taking smacks, Lamar. Harbaugh, you need to get into his ear, because Robert Griffin did the same thing. He started smelling himself. And you see where he is, a backup. Now, I'm not saying Lamar is going to end up there, but I will say this. Cleveland was prepared for running Lamar. They were ready for running Lamar. They made him be passing Lamar most of this game, and he passed the test. He was throwing some dimes out there to Hollywood Brown. And what OBJ needs to do is get open. Man, Marquise Brown was open. Marquise Brown is, woo. He's open. He is open. And Lamar Jackson, when he gets down in the red zone, folks, he is looking for Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews could score 4 TDs in a game for the simple fact when they get in the red zone, he is looking for Mark Andrews. And Dobbins, man, he's running routes already. I'm talking about game 1. He is actually motioning out the backfield to the line of scrimmage and running. Woo! He's already there. Boy, that was beautiful to see. I like J.K. Dobbins. That was beautiful to see him already running routes now. So they must have been working with him during the training camp. Baltimore DST, of course, you already know to fire those guys up because they hunt. Let's see. Raiders and the Panthers. Raiders and the Panthers. Let me get to my guy Ruggs right quick. Raiders and the Panthers. Where they go? Where did my Raiders and Panthers go? Here you go. All right, let me get to Carolina right quick because it was quick. It wasn't too much to really write down. CMC is CMC. You know, he is who he is. Here's one. Don't be surprised Robbie Anderson end up being the number 1 fantasy wide receiver coming out of Carolina. Just watch that one. Just watch that one. Going to Las Vegas. Look, they put a full plate on Ruggs. Ruggs was running ins. Ruggs was running outs. Ruggs was running posts, corners, end arounds, wide receiver screens, jet sweeps. They using Ruggs. Folks, Ruggs has a huge portion of the playbook under his name. So you look at Rieger, you kind of seen Jalen Rieger kind of running 9 routes because they kind of want to bring him along slowly. No, not Ruggs. They're throwing the book at Ruggs. He had a nice long bomb. He should have scored, but the ball was a little late. But he got hurt right before halftime, and I think they kind of, all right, we're just going to decoy you from this point on in. So make sure you look at the reports, the injury reports come out today and see if Ruggs is on there or not. But man, if you drafted Ruggs, boy, he's about to go off. Josh Jacobs, like what I saw from Josh Jacobs, but I already did an unlocked on Josh Jacobs. I did a video on Josh Jacobs. Wanted to see him catch more passes, and he's doing that. But I want to see him do this 4 more times. I want to see him do this type of usage 4 more times, and then I'm in on Jacobs. I can't get all in on Jacobs just off what I saw right there. Let's see, the Bears and the Lions. Bears and the Lions. Detroit, Matt Prater. You need a kicker. Pick up Matt Prater. If you need a kicker. Let's see, AP. Remember we talked about him in Washington. They went ahead and cut him. I don't know why he didn't go to a contender, but he went to Detroit. I guess he said, I want to start. Look, AP is the best running back on the team right now. Kerryon Johnson is an afterthought. DeAndre Swift is playing a lot. He's actually coming out of the backfield, and he's actually running routes. So they are actually utilizing DeAndre Swift. I hate it for the young man. He dropped the winning touchdown pass was right in his hands. He dropped it, and I hate that for the guy. He was motioning out the backfield a lot, and let's see. Yeah, he was motioning out the backfield a lot, and let's see, Chicago. Mitch looked a little bit better. His passes were a little bit crisper. He looked like he knew what he was doing. He looked like a quarterback there for a minute. Put that Mooney guy, wide receiver Mooney for Chicago. Make sure you put him on your watch list. Red zone is Jimmy Graham's. Just like the red zone for Lamar Jackson is Mark Andrews. The red zone is Jimmy Graham's in Chicago. So Jimmy Graham does have touchdown value. And just think, he signed a 2-year contract, but it's basically a $9 million 1-year guarantee, $9 million in guarantees, which means this season is only guaranteed. So next year they can cut him. So watch for Cole Kmet to come in and be that red zone threat, just like Jimmy Graham is. One thing about Chicago, they switch their running backs in and out too much. They need to bring a running back in, let him get a series or something. Let that guy get into a rhythm. David Montgomery can't get in a rhythm because here comes Cordarrelle Patterson, and well, Tyreek Cohen isn't really trying to get in a rhythm. They are not letting David Montgomery get carries in succession, and it's killing his fantasy value. Seahawks at Falcons. DK Metcalf did an unlock on DK Metcalf. Told you not only was he going to take over the wide receiver 1 duties, he pretty much has to because of the way the system is. You're starting to see the shift coming. So right now, he and Tyler Lockett are the same as much as far as targets. And pretty soon it's going to go. DK Metcalf is going to dwarf him, and then next year they can let Tyler Lockett go. So be aware of that. Russell Wilson is cooking, so they're letting him cook. Chris Carson catching passes out the backfield, caught 2 touchdowns, looked good doing it. Carlos Hyde isn't that threat that you thought he was. He got playing time, but his playing time didn't really mean anything. It was more like a breather. It's a big difference. Will Disley and Greg Olsen are kind of bumping heads as far as your tight end target because they use the tight end. Tight end is part of that system. Look at the Falcons. Todd Gurley looked fairly well. He got 45% of the snaps. Snaps really don't. I really don't worry about the snaps because the way I look at it, a player can come in and get 5 snaps and have 100 yards, 130 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Something like Mecole Hardman. Mecole Hardman could come in and get 5 snaps and be a fantasy wide receiver 1 off 5 snaps. You see what I'm saying? So I wish somebody out there could give me the snaps and then the snaps that matter. How many snaps they did, and then out of those snaps, like if somebody had a 57% snap share, how many of those snaps turned into actual touches? Was it 30% touches? That's what I need. I don't need just the target share. I need to know what turned into what. How important were those touches? Falcons, Calvin Ridley came up, but this was a blowout. This was garbage points. But hey, you will take them, right? Even Gage got involved. Matt Ryan he might have been the top QB this week. But that could be the way this goes. For the simple fact that the defense might not be able to hold too many folks down. Let's see what we got next. Dolphins and Patriots. You watching Cam Newton, you can see he's still not familiar with the playbook. They still don't have but a handful of plays. They're running them out the backfield, which is what they should. But he doesn't look like that old Cam in Carolina. Even though it looked good, it's not that old Cam in Carolina that Superman dominant. They're going to meet their match here in a few weeks. Cam is going to have to throw that football. Sona Michelle, James White, Rex Burkhead pretty much canceled each other out. So just wait till Damian Harris get in. Sell him. You had your window to get out. I got out. I sold Damian Harris. As a matter of fact, I sold him right when all the buzz was out. I had that. And then when he was tearing up camp and Sona Michelle was on pup, the universe gives everybody in your dynasty leagues a chance to get better. It's just whether you take advantage of it or not. I got out. Let's see. The Dolphins. Not too much for the Dolphins. Let's see. Let's move on. The Chargers and Bengals. Not too much about that one. Oh, Austin Eckler. Sorry, you drafted him in the first round. I'm sorry. Let's see. Cardinals, 49ers. Raheem Mostert is an RB1. Tevin Coleman should be the RB3. He looks finished. If you got Jerick McKinnon, he's going to be used. You might want to make a play for Jimmy Garoppolo. Maybe take a third in your super flex. Go ahead and bring in Jimmy Garoppolo because his weapons are down. Once his weapons come in, Jimmy Garoppolo, I promise you, he's going to ball out. This is going to be a high-scoring offense. They're going to move the ball up and down the field. They're going to be in the red zone a whole lot. So I would recommend getting Jimmy Garoppolo in your Superflex leagues. Let's see. Cardinals. Man, Kyler Murray can run. Kyler Murray's coming along. I see improvement. That guy can run and he can zip. He can zip that football, man. Kyler Murray's coming along. Kyler Murray's going to be, he's coming up. He's climbing his way up. He's getting ready to stick his nose into the top 7, top 4 dynasty. He's ready to stick his nose in there. He's ready for it. DeAndre Hopkins paid off. Did Christian Kirk play? Looking at that backfield, I know y'all like Drake. I like Edmonds. Edmonds a tough runner. Let's see. I'm trying to speed up here and go ahead and finish this out. Buccaneers, Saints. Look. Tom Brady kind of looked like Jameis Brady a little bit. Threw that pick 6. Game was pretty much out of reach then. But let me tell you this. The offense is not a biscuit Jameis Winston offense anymore. This is Tom Brady's offense. So remember we were going through all that talk during the offseason where they're going to modify the playbook or where they're going to cater it to Tom Brady, or was it going to be Bruce Arians' playbook? No, this is Tom Brady's playbook. This is a traditional pro set downhill running football team. They want to run the football. And when you get a team like that, your ex receiver becomes the best friend, which is Mike Evans. So Mike Evans is going to be your guy that's going to outscore Chris Godwin this time. Mike Evans was hurt. He had a hamstring injury, so he was pretty much running as a decoy. So as he get through his hamstring ailment, you should see his uptick. You should see it be evident that it's Mike Evans' team over Chris Godwin's team, because the biscuit air raid is not there. It's just a traditional flat out traditional pro set offense. They want to run the running back. They want one running back to run the show. Now, this offense does lean more towards Leonard Fournette. But as of right now, it's Ronald Jones' show, and I'm looking for a big breakout week from Ronald Jones against the Carolina Panthers this week. So if Ronald Jones, this is his shot to really break out, give me 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards, I'm expecting that from Ronald Jones this week coming up. If I really don't get a good breakout week from Ronald Jones, this might be his shot, man, because this offense is built for Leonard Fournette. Let's see. The Saints. Alvin Kamara's back. Welcome back, Alvin. Drew Brees and Brady, man. Those guys, they're not young anymore, man. They're still good quarterbacks because, their best was so high that 75% of them is still on par with what's in the NFL because those guys were so good. But they're coming down. Cook is going to be a top 5 tight end, so if you drafted Cook, you did well. Michael Thomas has a high ankle sprain, so he's going to be down a couple of games. Let's see. Cowboys, Rams. CeeDee Lamb is the truth. We already told you he's a baller. Not going to spend a lot of time on him. But we also told you that this is Amari's team. This is still Amari's team. Amari is the wide receiver 1. Don't forget that. All year, this is his team. Now, that being said, Dak, your pre-snap and post-snaps. Dak, you got to give me more, Dak. Dak, you got to give me more. You got to see the field, bro. You left a lot out there, man. Come on, Dak. The Rams. Look, Malcolm Brown. This is Malcolm Brown's backfield, man. Now they're going to try their best to keep trying to give it to Akers. They are going to try and get, because that was the plan, to give it to Akers. So they're going to keep forcing that plan. But I think week 1 showed enough for you to see Malcolm Brown. He's not going quietly into the night. This is Malcolm Brown's team. Cam Akers, he just looked timid. He looked scared. He just looked like he was trying his best not to mess up. He just was doing enough to not mess up. He didn't flourish into that Florida State Cam Akers, and I'm worried. But I was already worried about Akers coming in, trying to tell you during the offseason that they were going to bring in another running back. But a couple of more of these, you'll see Darrell Henderson come in and start getting a little burn. And look, next year, here we go again. They're going to step on all this with a round 1 running back. Because they have to get the running back situation right, because the whole team runs off play action. So watch yourself on Cam Akers. Don't hold too long. You might need to get out of there. But we'll, like I said, it's just week 1, so we'll see. Steelers, Giants. Connor went down. Benny Snell was clearly the better back. Deontay Johnson took a while for the playbook to get to his number, but once it did, he got going. He ended up having the most targets on the team. Juju got the 2 touchdowns, though. That's what matters. But Deontay, I thought the breakout wasn't coming. I really did. I was like, okay, I don't see them manufacturing touches for Deontay. But then he got like 3-4 targets in a row. I'm like, okay, here it is. They getting ready to use him. Chase Claypool, he's coming. Not this year, but he's coming. He's on the plane right now. He's on his way. He's coming. Like Justin Jefferson, he's on the plane. They're coming, dude. It's not going to land this year, though. Plane to land next year for Justin Jefferson. Giants like Daniel Jones. I would go try to pry him from somebody in 2 QB in a super flex. Saquon Barkley, like I was saying, game plan. You see what they did? They game plan. They put every resources in place to stop Saquon Barkley. That was a game plan. So that's what I was missing from Deontay Johnson. But then finally, during the second half, the game plan came up to where you saw the plays for Deontay Johnson. And they were everywhere. They just weren't just one down the field like you see with James Washington. Last but not least, Titans Broncos. Giants. I want to see, where's Evan Ingram, Jason Garrett? Where is Evan Ingram? But we'll say that for next. Titans Broncos. Look, it's the Derrick Henry show. It's the Derrick Henry show. It's the Derrick Henry show. Derrick Henry is the team, kind of like what you see with the Rams. They've got to run play action for Tannehill. They got to. But they got Derrick Henry in there. So now, who is the Derrick Henry for the Rams? They need a Derrick Henry. They need a guy who can come in and one back, come in. All right, this is your show. That's what they want. And they are trying to give it to Akers. But anyway, Titans, they have their running back. They re-signed him. He got a new contract this year. So now those play actions, it's wide open out there. Tannehill can read it. It's easy reads. Corey Davis was the one came up hot. I'm not buying Corey Davis. Didn't draft him. Not buying him. I give you a third. A.J. Brown, I told you, man, it's play action. It's a play action team, man. They are on to A.J. Brown and what he did last year. A.J. Brown's coming down to earth. Broncos, love Drew Lock. Love what I'm seeing for Drew Lock, but he's got to do it the whole game. You know, he can do it. He can give you about two and a quarter of a game. He's got to give me 4 full quarters. Once he learns how to do that, this offense is going to be clicking. Philip Lindsay went down. Reports came out first that, might be some kind of foot sprain. He might miss a couple of games, but we'll see. Melvin Gordon looks good. Looks good. Noah Fant. Locke and Fant. They together. CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy looked good. Dropped a couple passes, but I'm not eating his lunch for that. Looked pretty good. Cortland Sutton will return. Let's see what his addition to the lineup looked like. We're going to do this every week. Week 1 recap for fantasy football purposes. Make sure you smash subscribe. Make sure you smash the like button. Fantasy Typhoon Studios. I'm your humble host, the Fantasy Typhoon. And let's see what happens Thursday night. Let's see what happened Thursday night as we have. Let's see what happened Thursday night as we have the Cleveland Browns versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Thank you.